Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive
Um,
into the world of electric vehicles and ride sharing.
yeah.
We are looking at a really interesting article from Teslarati today,
Okay.
all about how Tesla and Uber have teamed up
Right.
to make driving electric even more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you ever thought about driving for Uber,
Yeah.
but hesitated because of gas prices?
Yeah, I actually have.
Say, hey,
I
wait,
know a few people that have.
you are in luck because
Okay.
this new incentive program
Mm-hmm.
is going to blow your mind.
Really?
So this isn't the first time
Yeah.
that Tesla and Uber have collaborated.
Mm.
They've actually offered incentives in the past.
Yeah.
But this one is a little bit different.
Interesting.
It's a two-part incentive program
Okay.
that targets Uber drivers who buy
Yeah.
a new Tesla Model 3 or Model Y.
So new cars only.
New cars only.
Okay.
And the first part is a $1,000 credit
Okay. A grand.
from Tesla
Right.
upon delivery of the car.
Wow.
Now, the second part is $1,000 in cash from Uber
What?
after you complete 100 trips.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of money.
Mm.
So these Tesla credits
Yeah.
are actually really flexible.
Oh.
It's not just a discount on the car itself.
Oh, okay.
You can use them for a lot of things,
Like what?
like supercharging,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
which could offset fuel costs.
Definitely.
You could put it towards service appointments.
Oh, wow.
You could even buy select items from the Tesla shop.
That's cool. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, or you could save them and put them towards a future Tesla.
Oh, that's really smart.
But there are a few things you can't use the credits for,
Like what?
like subscriptions,
Well, okay.
gift cards,
Mm-hmm.
or, and this one made me laugh,
What is it?
alcohol.
Oh, so no champagne.
No champagne with your new Tesla.
Makes sense, I guess.
It seems like they're really trying to help drivers with the practical expenses.
Yeah, that makes sense for their target audience.
Exactly. Now, this program really seems to highlight a trend that we are seeing
Yeah.
in the ride-sharing industry
Yeah.
towards electrification.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Uber also offered a discount with Ford
Oh, yeah.
for people who leased EVs.
Right. I remember that.
So this isn't a Tesla-exclusive strategy.
Interesting.
So I'm curious,
Mhm.
do you think
Yeah.
that this kind of incentive program
Yeah.
could be the thing that pushes people
Mm-hmm.
to finally make the switch to an EV,
I think for some people it definitely could be.
especially with gas prices being as high as they are?
Oh, yeah.
That supercharging credit
Right.
could make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And imagine telling your passengers
Yeah.
that your ride is essentially fueled for free.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it just seems like a glimpse into the future
It really is.
of sustainable transportation.
Yeah. It's
It's
great.
pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
Now, let's not forget
Yeah.
about the potential environmental benefits.
That's a big one.
I mean, ride-sharing already contributes to fewer cars on the road. But if those cars are electric,
Yeah.
think about the impact that could have on emissions.
That's huge.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
So let's talk about the companies themselves for a second.
Okay.
What do you think Tesla and Uber get out of this partnership?
Well, I mean, for Tesla, it's more sales, right?
Right.
More drivers using their cars.
They're targeting Uber drivers specifically
Mm-hmm.
who rack up a lot of miles
Yeah, a lot of miles.
and could really benefit from an EV.
For sure.
It's a way to get more people behind the wheel of a Tesla,
Yeah, and for Uber, it's about attracting drivers and
Right.
keeping them.
especially now with so much competition.
Yeah.
Folks like this could give them an edge.
Yeah, for sure.
And partnering with Tesla,
Right.
a company known for innovation and sustainability,
Yeah.
could really help their brand image.
Totally.
So it's a win-win situation.
Sounds like it.
Both companies benefit.
Yeah.
Drivers get a sweet deal,
Uh-huh.
and it's good for the environment.
I like it.
This partnership, though, raises a big question.
What's that?
Could this be the beginning of a shift
Okay.
towards electric vehicles in the entire ride-sharing industry?
That's a really good question.
Imagine opening your ride-sharing app
Okay.
and seeing a fleet of electric vehicles
Wow.
ready to take you anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
It's a really compelling vision.
It is.
But what about the traditional car companies?
Right.
How will they respond to this?
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to see more collaborations like this?
I think it's definitely possible.
Now, this is a landscape we need to keep an eye on
Totally.
because the decisions these companies make
Right.
could have a big impact on how fast we adopt EVs.
Absolutely.
I feel like we are at a tipping point,
Yeah.
and this Tesla Uber thing could be a big catalyst.
That's a good point.
It makes you wonder what other innovative partnerships
Mm-hmm.
we might see in the future.
Yeah. I'm excited to see you.
Now let's zoom back in
Okay.
and look at some of the details of this Tesla Uber program.
Okay.
The article specifically mentions
Mm-hmm.
that the program targets the Model 3 and Model Y.
Oh, okay.
Why do you think they chose those specific models?
Well, I think it's probably because those are their most affordable cars
Yeah, that makes
and the
sense.
most popular.
Oh, it wouldn't make sense to offer an incentive
Right.
for a model that most people couldn't afford.
Exactly.
And affordability is key,
Especially in ride sharing.
especially in the world of ride sharing.
Yeah.
I mean, drivers are focused on their earnings.
Absolutely.
The Model 3 and Model Y
Yeah.
strike a good balance
They do.
between price and performance.
Mm-hmm.
So they're attractive
For
for
sure.
drivers who want to go electric,
Yeah.
but maybe don't want to spend a ton of money.
Yeah. It makes sense.
And don't forget about practicality.
Right.
These models offer decent range,
Yeah.
and they have access to the Tesla supercharger network,
Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
which is really important for Uber drivers
Oh, yeah.
who need to be able to charge quickly
Yep.
and get back on the road.
Yeah. Can't afford to be waiting around.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Plus,
Yeah.
Tesla has a reputation for innovation and performance,
Yes, they do.
which probably makes them even more appealing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a status symbol in the EV world.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that actually helps Uber, too.
How so?
It enhances their image
Okay.
by associating them with Tesla.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's like Tesla's positive attributes rub off on Uber.
Oh, yeah. Kind of a halo effect.
Exactly, a halo effect.
Mhm.
And Tesla benefits from Uber's huge platform.
Total.
It exposes them to a new audience.
Yeah. Lots of drivers and riders.
It's not just about selling cars or offering rides anymore.
Right.
It's about building a brand
Uh-huh.
and positioning yourself
Yeah.
as a leader in the future of transportation.
That's a good point.
So it's really a strategic partnership.
Yeah. It is.
But I want to consider
Yeah.
how this partnership might impact the average consumer.
Okay.
What do I mean by that?
I don't know.
Well, think about it.
Okay.
If ride-sharing fleets become electric,
Okay. Yeah.
wouldn't that normalize EVs
Oh, yeah.
for
Definitely.
passengers?
Yeah, for sure.
And if people are more used to riding in EVs,
Right.
they might be more likely to buy one themselves.
Absolutely.
It's like a test drive on a huge scale.
Yeah.
People who might have been hesitant
Hmm.
to try an EV
Yeah.
could experience it
Yeah.
firsthand
Right.
without having to commit to buying one.
That's a good point.
So that increased familiarity
Yeah.
could lead to greater acceptance
Uh-huh.
of EVs in the long run.
Makes sense.
It's like a ripple effect.
It is.
You know,
Yeah.
one positive experience lead to another,
Mhm.
and eventually
Yeah.
EVs become the norm.
I like that.
Me too.
So we've talked about the benefits
Oh, yeah.
for the companies,
Yeah.
for the drivers,
Mm.
and for the environment. But what about the challenges? I think the biggest one is probably the upfront cost.
The upfront cost of EVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big barrier for a lot of people.
Yeah, even with incentives like this one,
Yeah. I mean, it's still a lot of money.
it's still a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
And what about charging infrastructure?
Yeah,
I mean, Tesla's supercharger network is great,
it is great. Yeah,
but it doesn't work with all EVs.
right.
We need a more robust system
We do.
that works for everyone.
Absolutely.
And what about range anxiety?
Oh, yeah.
I know people who are hesitant to buy an EV
Yeah,
because they're worried about running out of charge.
totally.
So while this partnership is great,
It's a good step.
it's a step in the right direction,
Mm.
but there's still work to be done.
For sure.
We need more affordable EVs.
Absolutely.
We
yeah.
need better charging infrastructure,
Right.
and we need to keep improving battery technology.
Totally.
But I think it's partnerships like this one
Yeah.
that are going to drive progress.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Tesla and Uber are showing us
Mm-hmm.
that we can work together
Absolutely.
to create a more sustainable future.
It's a good example.
And I think it's pretty cool
It is.
that they can be competitors and collaborators
Yeah.
at the same time.
Sure.
This partnership paves the way
Uh-huh.
for a more exciting future
Yeah.
for transportation.
I'm excited about it.
Me too.
I am too.
But let's consider some potential downsides
Okay.
to this partnership.
What do you mean?
What could go wrong?
I don't know. What are you thinking?
Well, one thing that worries me
Okay.
is the impact on drivers
Okay.
who don't buy a Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, could this create a divide
Yeah, that's possible.
in the Uber driver community?
It could.
Drivers who choose a Tesla
Right.
will have an advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll save money on gas.
Uh-huh.
They'll have access to superchargers,
Yeah, that's a good point.
so they could end up making more money
Yeah, that's true.
or getting preferential treatment from Uber.
Yeah, that would be bad.
And what about the competition?
Okay.
To hit those 100 trips,
Right, to get the bonus.
to get that Uber Cash bonus.
Yeah.
Could that create pressure
Yeah, it could.
or unhealthy competition among drivers?
That's a good point.
And then there's the whole data privacy issue.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Tesla collects a lot of data,
Mm-hmm.
so do they share that with Uber?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We need transparency
You do.
about what data is being collected
Right.
and how it's being used.
Absolutely.
It seems like with all these new technologies,
Yeah.
we always have to balance the benefits
Right.
with the ethical considerations.
The tightrope walk?
It is a tightrope walk.
It is.
So we've explored the positives,
Mm-hmm.
the potential downsides,
Yeah.
and the broader implications.
Right.
But now I want to get philosophical for a moment.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Do you think
Yeah.
that partnerships like this one
Mm-hmm.
are really about sustainability? Or are they just a clever marketing ploy
Yeah.
to make companies look good?
I think it's probably a bit of both.
Go on.
Okay, so on the one hand,
Yeah.
companies are starting to realize
Mm-hmm.
that sustainability is important.
Right.
Consumers are demanding it.
Yeah.
Investors are rewarding it.
Hmm.
And there are real environmental benefits.
True.
But on the other hand, there's no denying
Mhm.
that being seen as green
Right.
is good for business.
It's good marketing.
It's good marketing.
Yeah.
So companies might be using EVs
Mm-hmm.
to improve their image
Yeah.
and appeal to a certain type of consumer.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So it's up to us to be smart consumers
Yeah.
and look beyond the marketing
Mm-hmm.
to see what companies are really doing.
We need to hold them accountable
Absolutely.
and demand transparency.
Yeah.
And that's where informed consumers like our listeners
Right.
come in.
Mm-hmm.
By staying informed
Yeah.
and asking questions,
Yeah.
we can push for real change.
Totally.
Okay, so let's look ahead to
That's
the
wrong.
future.
All right.
What do you think the role of EVs
Yeah.
will be in ride sharing
Okay.
in, say, 5 to 10 years?
That's a good question.
What do you think?
I think they'll play a really big role.
Okay.
I mean, as battery technology gets better
Mm.
and the cost of EVs goes down,
Yeah.
it's going to make more and more sense for ride-sharing companies to use them.
So you're picturing a future where you
Yeah.
open your ride sharing app
Yeah.
and you just see a bunch of electric cars
Yeah. Whole fleet of them.
ready to take you wherever you need to go.
Yeah. I think that's a real possibility.
It's a really exciting possibility.
It is.
I mean, it's good for the environment.
Yeah.
It's good for the ride-sharing companies, and it's good for passengers.
I agree.
And partnerships like this one
Yeah.
are laying the groundwork
They are.
for that future.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about Tesla and Uber.
Right.
It's about shaping the future
Yeah.
of transportation as a whole.
I like that.
This has been a fascinating conversation,
It has been.
and I feel like we're just getting warmed up.
Same here.
We will be right back after a short break.
That sounds good. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how traditional car companies respond to all this.
Yeah. Will we see more of these types of partnerships?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe even some mergers or acquisitions?
Maybe.
I mean, the lines between car companies and tech companies are getting blurrier all the time.
They really are.
But for now, let's focus on the potential impact on consumers.
Okay.
I think this partnership could be a game changer.
How so?
It could really accelerate the adoption of EVs.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, think about it.
Okay.
More people are going to be exposed to EVs through ride sharing.
Right.
They're going to see how convenient they are,
Yeah.
how quiet they are,
Mm-hmm.
and they might even save some money on gas.
That's true.
So they might be more likely to consider buying one themselves.
Yeah, it's like a test drive on a massive scale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that could lead to a tipping point
Oh, yeah.
where EVs become the norm.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
That would be great for the environment.
Absolutely.
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Oh no, what do you mean?
Well, there are some potential downsides to consider.
Like what?
Well, one thing that worries me is the impact on jobs.
Jobs.
Yeah, as ride-sharing fleets become more automated,
Okay.
there's a risk that human drivers could be replaced.
Replaced by self-driving cars.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
It is.
I mean, a lot of people rely on driving for their livelihood.
Yeah, and we need to make sure that there are safety nets in place for those workers.
Absolutely.
We need to think about retraining programs and other ways to help them transition to new jobs.
It's a societal issue that we can't ignore.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else worries you?
Well, another concern is traffic congestion.
Okay.
If everyone starts using ride-sharing services, it could lead to even more cars on the road.
Especially if those cars are empty.
Right, just driving around waiting for their next passenger.
So we need to be smart about how we encourage ride sharing.
We do?
It needs to complement public transportation,
Yeah,
not make traffic worse.
for sure.
Okay, and one last thing,
What's that?
data privacy.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, ride-sharing companies collect a lot of data about us.
Mm-hmm.
Our location,
Yeah.
our travel patterns.
Our spending habits.
Yeah.
everything.
So we need to make sure that that data is being protected
Absolutely.
and that it's not being used in ways that we don't agree with.
Transparency is key.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the potential downsides,
Mm-hmm.
but overall, I'm still optimistic.
Me too.
I think this partnership is a sign that things are moving in the right direction,
I agree.
and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Me too. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. It really is going to be fascinating to watch this all unfold.
It is. All right, so let's recap what we talked about today. Sounds good.
We started by discussing this new incentive program
Right.
from Tesla and Uber
Mm-hmm.
and how it's designed to encourage Uber drivers
Right.
to buy a new Tesla.
A Model 3 or a Model Y specifically?
Right. And there are two parts to this incentive.
Mm-hmm.
First, you get $1,000 in Tesla credits.
Yeah, which you can use for all sorts of things.
Like supercharging service appointments.
Yeah.
Even future Tesla purchases.
And then there's the $1,000 cash bonus from Uber,
After you complete 100 trips.
which is a pretty sweet deal.
Is a pretty sweet deal.
It is.
And then we talked about how this partnership
Yeah.
could impact the entire ride-sharing industry.
It's a sign that things are changing.
Definitely we're seeing a shift towards electrification.
Absolutely.
And we talked about how this could influence consumers, too.
Mm,
As more people ride in EVs,
yeah,
they might be more likely to buy one themselves.
right. It normalizes the technology.
Exactly.
And makes it less scary.
And we also talked about some of the challenges.
Yeah, like the upfront cost of
Mhm.
EVs.
The need for better charging infrastructure.
And the potential impact on drivers who don't go electric.
Those are all important considerations.
They are.
But overall,
Yeah,
I think this partnership is a good thing.
I agree.
It's a step in the right direction.
For sure.
And it shows that companies are starting to take sustainability seriously.
Absolutely. And it's a win-win for everyone involved.
Well said.
Thanks.
So this has been Everyday Tech Explained.
Please hit that like button to help us out. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives like this one. Thanks for joining us.